The 6th of December. I will read a short story about the old shoemaker, written by Leo Tolstoy, famous Russian author from the 18th century. Once upon a time there was a poor old shoemaker who lived alone in a basement. There was only one window in the room, and it was so high up on the wall that he could only see the feet of people passing by. His wife and his child were dead long time ago. He had to work hard to get enough money for the rent of the room, to get food and something to drink. All day he was repairing shoes, but the evening he liked sitting in the front of the oven, and he was reading in the only book he had. The book was a Bible after his wife. In this book he read about Jesus, who was walking around, talking to people of Galilee. One evening he said to himself, "If I only could see Jesus, it would be easier for me to do what is right." When the old man had gone to bed that night, he heard a mild voice say his name. "I will come to you tomorrow, Adjeyevich." The shoemaker raised in his bed and replied, "Oh Lord, are you coming to me?" But there was no sound in the room, and Adjeyevich thought he had been dreaming. The morning after he thought of the voices as he woke up, and he said to himself, "Imagine if the Lord would come to me." But of course it was just a dream. He got up in the morning and made strong dark tea. And when he had finished eating breakfast, he heard someone who was stomping heavily on the sidewalk. He looked out and saw the feet of the old man who was shoveling snow. Adjeyevich realized that the old man was cold, and he went to the door and asked him to come and get a little warmth. Then Adjeyevich gave him tea and some whole wheat bread. The old man thanked him and stretched his stiff hands towards the heat. A moment later he went out, and Adjeyevich sat down, starting to repair shoes again. He worked diligently for dinner. Then he heard a child cry and looked out of the window. He saw the feet of a woman passing by, and behind her he saw the feet of a little child. The little shoes on the child were full of holes, and he was freezing, and he cried. Adjeyevich went to the door and asked the wife to come and warm up. She told him that her husband was a soldier, and he had been moved to another city. And since she had no money, she couldn't go by train. She and the child were going to go the long way on their feet. Adjeyevich noticed how thin she was, and he thought Mary would probably have given her the shawl. He went to the coffin where he had his few belongings, found the shawl and after Mary, and gave it to the stranger. He also found a pair of nice little red shoes. They were done only just a pair of stitches to close, and just fit the little boy. Adjeyevich thought of his own boy, who had become sick and died just before the new shoes were finished. He thought it was sad to be separated from the shoes, but he thought the child needed them more than he did. He sat on his little stool and finished them in a few minutes, and then he gave him to the little boy. The child was delighted by the beautiful color of the new shoes, and jumped around and said, "I'm getting warm on my feet in these red shoes." Adjeyevich gave the woman his strong tea and some bread, and she thanked him for everything he had done for her. As soon as she had left, Adjeyevich started working again. He patched many pairs of shoes, and eventually it was so dark that he couldn't see working anymore. He made tea again, and was just supposed to have dinner. At the same time he heard the sound of feet running by, and he heard loud voices. He walked to the door and saw a boy come running. After him came the apple woman who has a booth on the corner. She was angry and shouted, "I'll take you to the police station." The boy answered, "You must get me first." Ajayevich asked them both to come in. They sat down in the front of the heat, and he shared the tea and the last bread slices with them. Then the boy said, "It was not right for me to steal the apple from her, but I was hungry. I'll pay you for what I took as soon as I can make some money." Then the woman replied, "You do not have to pay me. I should have given you one when you asked for it. I didn't know you were hungry." Ajayevich talked with the boy, and he promised that he should never steal apples anymore. When the apple and the boy had passed, Ajayevich sat in front of the heat and read again about Jesus who went around talking to people in Galilee. And again he thought, if he just wanted to talk to me, it would be easier for me to do what's right. Then he saw a shining light, and Ajayevich heard a voice saying, "I've been here today, Ajayevich." He rose quickly and said, "Lord, when were you with me? I was so busy working, so I didn't notice it." "I was with you this morning with the old man who was shoveling snow. I was with you at noon with a mother and her baby. I was with you tonight with the woman and the boy. I was hungry and you shared the little you had with me. I was cold and you gave me warm clothes, and I was warmed by your love. What you did for these Ajayevich, you did for me as well."